Early French colonists have had a lasting impact on the development of North America. Aspects of French culture can be found today in the province of Quebec, along with being sprinkled throughout American DNA, fashion, architecture, language, business, and politics. This presentation will identify ways 16th century French exploration left its mark on North America. Early explorations of North America by the French began with men seeking resources for the King of France. However, by the 16th century, these men were in need of female counterparts for successfully expanding the region's population. From 1663 through 1673, King Louis XIV sent a group of 800 women known today as the King's Daughters. France's focus on North America was in the fur trade. Ongoing conflict with competing European nations emphasized the need for conserving military resources on the home front, as well as seeking colonies in climates suited for agricultural opportunities. Strong relations with the indigenous populations in the region were established in efforts of supporting a long-term presence in the region. With a flourishing fur trade and France's focus on colonization in other parts of the world, there was a reduced interest in North American land acquisition. New France's population provided ample financial resources for the king. A higher population would have required a stronger military presence for expanding its borders against the British, as well as providing sufficient resources during the region's harsh winters. After the Revolutionary War, populations living along the rural Canadian-American borderlands were in the process of building a new North American culture. Rural communities composed of former Europeans were accustomed to mingling with one another. Borderland military conflicts triggered by the War of 1812 acted to delineate these cultures. Early North America under British Protestantism lived a limited tolerance for Catholicism. Despite America's claim for being founded on religious freedom, Catholics were looked down upon as the United States expanded Protestant ideologies. French Catholics were viewed as being held under the control of the European Pope, therefore did not align with America's ongoing desire for separation of church and state. Strong New England trade markets in the 1800s attracted French-Canadian immigration. This market expansion established solid trade relations with Quebec. Despite Protestantism dominating American culture, some states proved more tolerant of religious freedom. Therefore, French Canadians became ambitious in search of American business ventures remaining to this day. During this period, a biological impact of the population's global expansion was occurring. A selected amount of French DNA traveled a great distance from the original population of France. Reproduction within this founding group over centuries created a limited gene pool variation. In biological anthropology, this occurrence is referred to as the founder effect. The physical appearance of French Canadians differs from the more diverse populations of France today. Early French colonists primarily immigrated from the northern regions rather than southern France's population along the Mediterranean Sea. Additionally, immigration influences on French DNA over the past few hundred years will not appear in French Canadian DNA. Impacts also appear within the French language being spoken today in Quebec versus the original language of French colonists. Verbal communication between populations morph a founding language as relations are established between populations speaking different languages. Once political borders were established, the mutual effects on the French and English languages could not be undone. The French use of long lots in Quebec also appears down into the United States along the Mississippi River, where French colonists held territories. The use of long lots extending from a river provided access to water, increasing the rate of agricultural success. Lots connected to rivers also provided farmers a method for transporting their produce for trade. One of the most recognizable North American landmarks is the Statue of Liberty. Strong relations between the French during colonization, wartime, and the Industrial Revolution inspired this gift from France located off the coast of New York City. Generations of North American citizens and immigrants alike look to her as representation of liberty many have found in North America. To this day, New England maintains the highest population of French Canadian American ancestry. Although French Canadian DNA is found throughout North America, the influence of the early trade relations between Quebec and Massachusetts remain. As a descendant from these populations and a native of Southern California, I have spent my life spelling and pronouncing my French Canadian last name. Historical colonist relations are still evident in North America today. Although Quebec maintains its French identity, it remains part of the British Commonwealth of Canada. Political separatist movements in Quebec are ongoing over separating from the British monarchy. Quebec has established its own North American identity, with many citizens enjoying its ties to the Commonwealth. With the European Age of Exploration part of history, modern-day relations between the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and France remain strong. All countries are allies belonging to the United Nations. Trade relations between all countries are strong, supporting the global economy, tourism, as well as pop culture at large.